All right, we're back for another Friday Financial Wrap with Mr. Michael Zuber. How are you, Michael?
I'm doing very well, man. I look forward to this. It allows me to kind of finish up the week before I start a couple of days of rest and relaxation.
I love it. Well, this is for January the 24th, 2025. What a wild ride. We're on the tail end of January.
It's hard to believe.
Hard to believe, right? In the
Yeah.
events right around the corner.
Yep.
Super excited for that. Let's get into the show, though. You had a long conversation with Mr. Ryan Pineda. For people who might not know, who is Ryan, and tell us about your conversation with Ryan.
Yeah, so Ryan Pineda obviously is a social media influencer, huge on YouTube. He's really an entrepreneur, kind of through and through. Used to be a professional baseball player, then couch flipper, then real estate flipper, then building a brand, and just all of that stuff. Just a good guy. And he invited me down to his studio to record a show of me interviewing him, which was very gracious of him. But yeah, the video went out yesterday. And when I think about that conversation, I think there are two parts. The first part of the conversation is why 2025 real estate market is going to suck for most people, right? I am very clear. I think there's only going to be a couple of winners in 2025 and unfortunately a whole bunch of losers. So we kind of break that down. We talk about it. We talk about how Ryan's really getting focused on his business. He shared targets and some, just some interesting stuff. We talked about, an entrepreneur mindset, W-2 mindset. That was kind of the first half of the video. The part that I actually got a kick out of was the second half. It starts at about, I think about minute 45 or so. We start talking about, A-list YouTube celebrities, influencers like Ed Milet and Andy Elliott and Cody Sanchez and, Alex Hormozi and all these people that, he's had on his show.
Yep.
And we get to talking and we really figure out who's a good person and who's a dick. I really appreciated Ryan's, just open sharing, off the camera comments and interactions with these, these A-listers. And it was both heartwarming to know that, some of those people that we watch are truly good people off camera. And, as you would expect, some of them are complete a-holes. So that was fun to listen to and riff on. So I had a lot of fun during that conversation.
I'm going to keep my comments to myself. When you said that, dude, my mind, the spring, just my mind went wild with like comments and smart aleck comments, but we'll save that for another day. We'll save that for another day. I have not earned my stripes there yet. I have not earned my stripes there yet. Okay, so let's talk about this week. By the way, I'm going to go check it out. You got me massively curious about Ryan. Normally, I don't necessarily watch a lot of Ryan stuff,
Sure.
but I
you
am
just fast forward to I think it was minute 45, might have been minute 54. I wrote it down because I'm going to chop up the video. But yeah, it was a fun conversation.
That also kind of ties to what I was about to say, my comment. All right. So, inauguration. Talk about the inauguration. What happened this week? Talk about your thoughts. Like what, I wouldn't mind talking a little bit about the inauguration itself.
Sure. Yeah.
Because there's some commentary there.
Sure.
But also just what did it mean to you financially for the financial news? I think that's important because that's what we're doing today. I would like to sidebar on it a little bit too, though.
Yeah, I mean, this is our show. Go anywhere you want. I'm an open book. You know that. I think the inauguration, all inaugurations mark the, ending of one and the beginning of another administration. And this one was no different. One is out the door and one is in the door. The inauguration, marks that. It was, it happened. It was, uneventful. I think there were a couple of moments in the inauguration that really hit me, which we can talk about after if you want. But, President Trump is in office and, he very quickly started signing executive orders, which he had promised to do. And, we'll see where it goes from here. But yeah, he's in. If you want to talk about meaningful moments, I'm happy to do that. But yeah.
So politically too, like that was pretty the first time I had ever heard of the president coming in on day one signing like 100 plus executive orders. Was that what it was? Was that the number ballpark that what was splashed around?
I heard two different numbers. I heard just over 100, and then early I read there might have been 200. Regardless, in the first 48 hours, the guy probably signed 300 or so. I don't know that that's unheard of. I believe Biden came in and kind of did the same thing, probably not to that scale. But it's really interesting now that you say that. I don't think executive orders, if you go back to Reagan, Bush Jr., Obama, even probably, at least Obama first term. I don't know about second term. I don't think this was, it wasn't a day one activity, right? Go to the president's desk and, start signing all these black folders, which are the executive orders we've all probably seen pictures of. I don't know that for sure. I'm certainly no political scholar, but I do think it's a relatively new thing to kind of leverage executive orders day one. And again, it kind of sets a tone, right? It sets a message. What did I take from the executive orders? I think there's a couple of things. One is he's going after oil prices, right? Whether we know it or not, if you can get oil from, let's say, $80 when he took office to even $60, that will be deflationary. You want to bring down food prices, reduce oil price. You want to bring down this, you want to bring down that, oil. So that is, we should all hope he's successful. I mean, again, inflation is a regressive tax, meaning it hurts the bottom more than the top. So if we can get oil down to even $60, the American people are going to feel that. The other thing that I think I took from the executive orders was he's clearly holding to his word that he wants America to be the AI and crypto powerhouse, which means all kinds of things, right? We've already seen a $500 million commitment from, lots of folks. It is, it's going to be interesting to see what that really means to have that as a focus and innovation. We're already hearing from the big banks like JP Morgan and Bank of America and, all these others going, hey, if you clear the landmines, we got you. We're going to go make this digital payment thing, real, right? If you give us some clear guardrails, because the last administration was not that, right? Gary Gensler was, not seen in a positive light for innovation. So I think we're seeing a clear, he's clearly holding to his things, right? He already has the border, right? Was probably one of the first ones, a national emergency. But yeah, it's I'm still of the mind, give the man 90 days.
Yep.
Right. I already think there's a whole bunch of noise and nonsense in the media. Just ignore that. Let's hope he makes it happen. I think everybody, right, left, blue, purple, whatever, we can all benefit from lower oil prices. And I think that would be a net positive for the country.
Are we the purple party?
Purple. Yes. Yeah. Purple. Definitely.
The hat.
Definitely. Yeah. Let's go.
I love the. I think too, it just shows signs that, hey, he's coming in. He's going to be proactive. He's very much.
He's not messing around, man. He's like, I think he knows he's got like 18 months, right? Before the midterms, and he is going hard. And the other thing I really find just as an interesting, pivot again from the old administration to the new one is, dude, he's in front of the press corps. When was the last time Biden just took random questions? I mean,
right. Geez, while you're signing the executive orders, he's commenting on stuff that happened that day, and
he's just bantering with it. He's just you're going to see him, unlike Biden, who was clearly managed and held back and hidden and frail and all of that. You are going to see him, whether you like it or not. He is going to be in front of the camera, which frankly is good and bad. But from what we had to what we have, let's give the guy 90 days and see what happens.
Absolutely. One last just quick comment from me that I've been wanting to say is that I was massively impressed with Barron Trump. And, if physiology and body language, this kid came across so confident, and just the way that also too, tying it back to the election, that getting Trump on the podcast, Patrick Bet David, Rogan, all of that, Trump gave direct credit to his son, and that listening to his son being a young man and saying, okay, what do you think of, should I go on these podcasts? And Barron was like, yeah. So he got a lot of credit. Barron got his flowers. And so I just want to say kudos to a young man who I thought really showed a lot of grace. And
it's funny.
Out well.
It's funny you brought that up, because there were two moments in the inauguration that hit me differently. Then it's like, oh wow, that's different. And one of them was Barron getting his flowers, the young man standing up. I think he's like 6'9" or something. He's just a giant of a young man. Yeah, he's a tree. He's like a freaking tree. Just wait till that guy fills out, right? He's only 18. And how he handled that with great, and also for Trump, that that's a proud parent, right? I mean, that's a dad acknowledging his son. And I mean, again, as a parent, right? Some of those moments hit different. And looking at Trump's smile, and then I don't know if you caught it, but Melania's smile when that was happening, right? The parents of this young man, that was a wow moment for me, because I could not imagine how I would have handled that at 18 years old. But I promise you, it would not have been with grace. It would not have been like that. It would have been something all kinds of awful. But the second one was Carrie Underwood. Right? I don't know if people caught this, but Carrie Underwood was there to sing a song. And let's just say she had technical difficulties, or the event had technical difficulties. And she just mouthed the word, "I'll just sing. Let's just go a cappella." And Grace Under Fire, to me, that's the American spirit, right? You can practice and do all these things, and stuff still doesn't break. You still got to get off your ass and do the work. And I don't think there's a lot of people that would have handled it as gracefully as she did. A lot of people probably would have crumbled under the pressure. And I say this as someone who's a Carrie Underwood fan. I actually went and saw a concert of her in San Francisco, I think, a couple of years ago. She has a song called Champion with Ludacris that if I ever want to get hyped for a workout, that's the song I listen to. That's like my walkout music or whatever. I must have heard it 1,000 times. I still get hyped under that song, her and Ludacris. So I was very impressed with Carrie too.
I love it all. Folks, we're getting to know Michael too, by the way. I just love it all. I just love it. This is fun. I'm having fun this morning. So let's keep it going. Anything on executive orders and anything else on executive orders that we covered that?
No, I think we hit them. Yeah, I think we hit them pretty good. Again, to me, it's like, let's see what get done by April 15th, tax day. That gives them 90 days roughly. And, we'll see what happens.
Great benchmark timeline. Okay, let's keep going. Let's talk about lower rates, man. What's going to happen with the rates? I noticed rates, they came in a little bit. What are you seeing right now?
Trump is starting to come out and do exactly what he wants to do. I'm just trying to check rates, because I actually forgot to check rates this morning. But he wants lower rates, and he's not going to be shy about that. And
felt like we were headed to 7.5. Felt like at a moment there we were headed to 8%, and then all of a sudden I know they turned, and it looked like we were headed to 7 plus or minus 7.
Yeah, it's interesting, because I think most people are going to miss what's going on. Most people probably see Trump beating up Jerome Powell, aka the Fed. And, that makes good headlines. It's always good to have a villain to your, whatever, when you're kind of doing this. But let's be very clear, folks. The Fed has already delivered 4 rate cuts, and mortgage rates are up over 100 basis points. So Powell ain't the boogeyman here. You could beat up Powell, and maybe he does another quarter point in March or April, but that doesn't do squat for mortgage rates. Have we not learned that lesson already?
Yep.
So, you know, Trump's really got to go after, the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is the bond market, which is a big, scary, monstrous beast. And he could certainly influence some of that. If he brings down inflation with lower oil, that will, inflation expectations will fall. That could bring down rates. If Doge takes off and people really see, $500 million in savings coming, that could take it off. But he's really got to get the bond market to see that the U.S. economy has got its fiscal house in order and is just not going to go on a drunken, spending spree, because that's where the ammunition is. And then the last thing he could do is he could try to get the spread down. The spread historically is 180 basis points. Today it's about 260. So he could lean on the banks to kind of bring that in a little bit. But if you think Trump should go after Powell, you're not paying attention, because Powell's already given 100 basis points,
right,
and rates are up 100. So wrong guy. You're looking at the wrong guy.
Yeah. And I think to that point, Michael, I've seen the headlines and people blasting like, oh, Powell's going to get fired, or, like stuff like that. I've seen those kind of like sizzle type headlines.
No.
Right. But I think the audience is missing it, and that the overall bond market responds to confidence in a stable U.S. economy. It's really about certainty, confidence in a stable economy. Is that right, Michael, or no?
Yes, but with a twist. It's not necessarily all of those things today. It's all about future expectations. That's the game we are playing with. If the bond market sees that Trump is going to be successful in crushing inflation and saving money, bond markets will collapse. So they just have to believe.
Yep.
Because the bond market doesn't play for today. It plays for tomorrow.
Yep.
And that's the game. And without question, Trump knows that. That's why he's making, national emergency on oil. If you were to give Trump truth serum, or if you were just to ask him point blank, I think he'd tell you.
Yeah, he doesn't need any.
Yeah, I don't think he needs any, right? The guy's an open book. I think he wants oil at $60 or less. Because if you go much below 60, you start turning off supply. But 60, $65, that's like the number.
Let's talk about oil, because that's our next point, and let's continue to talk about that. Now, I fell in love. I know a lot of viewers have. There's a TV show. Have you watched it, Michael, on Paramount Plus called Landman?
I haven't. You're the second or third person to tell me to watch that.
Phenomenal. And the beauty is now all the episodes are released, so you don't have to wait week by week like my household, my wife and I, we waited week by week to watch it.
Okay.
One of the things that stands out on this point, there's a point where the main character, they're in the oil business in Midland, Texas, and they're fracking and they're drilling and all of that, and they're reviving old wells. But one of the things he says in there, that's a quote in the story, and I may get it, I think I'm pretty accurate here, it may be slightly off, but he says that they want the oil industry as a whole in the US anyway, they want oil to be $60 to $70 a barrel.
Oh, wow.
And for the market to be stable, because then they're able to predictably drill, do new oil, to do new, to basically revive old wells, and then it creates a stable market. So comment to your comments, tie the knot here on about oil pricing and why that's so important to the whole U.S. economy.
Yeah, I think oil is a worldwide phenomenon. So we can talk U.S., but you can just slap the world in there anytime I say U.S. The U.S. runs on oil, right? Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Oil is, probably it is the largest commodity that's used by every American. It is in everything. And in order to get true deflation, I do believe you need oil at $60 a barrel, but you have to keep it there. I have not seen the movie or the show, so it's interesting that they came in at 60, 65, because the fact that supply and demand, if you go to like $40, which I've heard some people talk about, you're just going to get countries to stop producing, which just makes prices go up. But when I've looked at historically you kind of find that tension point where it's still profitable to drill and the consumers win, it looks like $60 to $65 is kind of that sweet spot. And let's be clear, right? The U.S., like if the U.S. can unlock 3 million additional barrels a day, that could get us there.
Yeah.
So, again, we should all hope for that, right? We've been the average American today is struggling, but if you could take gas prices down 75 cents, if you could bring food down 2 or 3% just because of transportation costs, we all win. And, it's one of those things that, you should hope for $60 oil, my opinion.
Folks, this is why I always say stay close to Michael Zuber. He has given us a lesson in economics just tied to what's going on with Trump, oil, all of it. It all makes sense now, Michael. Thank you for that. Let's keep going. Let's talk about existing home sales. What did you see this week and what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so we got the existing home sales for December, just to run through the numbers. Last month, again, the 12-month average, they call it, was 4.15, so just over 4 million. They estimated it would pop to 4.2. It actually came in at 4.24. Again, folks, remember, this is December data. We did have that early December where rates were down in the low sixes. So this is kind of that last hurrah. The other thing to talk about is price. A lot of people tried to call a price crash in 2024. It's now over. They were wrong. It's official. Prices came in at $404,000, up 6%. So we can now close the book on 2024. We did not have a price crash. Prices did not fall 5% like some people called. They were up 6%. Now we go to 2025. And, my call for 2025 is sub 4 million. I have heard from agents across the country that January has been anemic. So, it'll be very interesting to see what happens in January numbers. But yeah, 2024 is now done. No crash. Now we get to see if I'm right about 25, that it's the last hard year.
What was the total transaction national for the year? Did we?
It's not out. It's not out yet, but it's estimated to be by Realtor 4.05 to 4.1. So let's call it 4.1 for easy math. Is what
just a hair over 4.
Right.
Okay. Very interesting. And 3.95, just a hair under 4 is what you're calling for?
Anything below 4, I will consider being right. But if you had to nail me on a number, let's go like 3.87.
Let me throw another curveball at you. So oil, we get to that stabilized sweet spot of $60, $65. We're stable there. What happens with the 30-year mortgage? Is Barry Habib going to be right? Or what we still maybe average? It's going to take time. So we still probably average 7.
Yeah. Again, this is all setting up to help me with my call. I think 2026 is much better than 25. Lead, lag, all of those things. We might end the year at 6.5 or sub 6, but that's a long way from here, right? Yeah. It's going to take a while for all of this to ripple through. But at the end of the day, I still believe 26 will be better than 25. And that's one of the reasons. Exactly what I've seen coming is all of this stuff takes time to work through the mechanisms of the U.S. economy and for deflation and inflation expectations and this, that, the other thing. And, maybe rates are in the 5s in 2026. Who knows? That's too far away for me to call, but you've kind of put it together how I see it. Yes.
This has been one of my favorite shows in the last 90 days. Not only did we have some fun, but I feel like I learned a lot about the oil, because now it all makes sense about oil and how it ties to, because it's in everything. It's about everything. So let's keep going. I'm going to get to see you in about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, right? 2 weeks. Yeah.
20,
so let's talk about Vegas. How many tickets are available? Are we sold out? We're about to be sold out, folks. Don't sleep.
I would hope so. I would hope. We got 36 tickets left. 2 of those are VIP. Folks, if you're planning to come, go buy your tickets. Help me out. I'd love to stop talking about it, because once we sell 36 tickets, I'll have no reason to talk about it anymore. But yeah, we have 36 tickets left. We have sold 21 virtual tickets. So there will be 21 people watching virtually. Again, you're going to get the replay. If you come in person or virtual, it's just my way of saying thank you for being a part of the group. But yeah, it's time to get your tickets. There's still a lot of people out there says, Michael, I'm coming. that haven't bought tickets yet, well, you got 36 slots left. Let's sell it out.
And you're not going to, just to be clear, folks, he's not going to keep the ticket booth open all the way up until the show. No. He's got to close it out because he's got to give a final head count to catering, to the seat count, all of that. And not only that, but the last week of the event, the last thing he's going to be worried about, he's going to be in the setup for the room.
It's already starting.
Yeah. It's like, so just so you know, you'll probably close out Friday, like a week from today, probably next weekend, you'll close out whether you're sold. You could be sold out or you close out.
You know what? That's a really good question. I will definitely be closed out, February 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, because I just don't want to deal with the headache anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not worth the cost, and it's not about money. This isn't a moneymaker for Michael.
Oh, Jesus. No, it's not a moneymaker.
To say the least. That's why I don't do live events.
So why I might not do them again. Jesus,
right. This might be the last.
Everything's expensive in Vegas. God damn.
It really is. It's much easier to show up as a guest on somebody else's stage.
Exactly. Can I just
right? And be a guest speaker. Yeah, I agree. So also school community, folks. So get your tickets. We want to see you in 2 weeks, by the way. We're saying this so that you buy your tickets. Buy your tickets this week. Even airlines still very low cost if you fly Southwest. Like you can still get the tickets down. Get yourself there. Get yourself to Vegas. Be in the room. If you cannot, buy a virtual ticket, $99, and you get the replays. Tell them about school, Michael.
Yeah, school is again something I think I'm going to be known for in a year or so. It's a collection of 367 folks going the same direction from all different skills, from first timers to hundreds of units. We've got, thousands of dollars in free education at different levels, which you and I and Jason and others have created. And it's where I go to have fun. It's where I go to smile. People are asking questions, networking. We've got 6 go-givers, actually 12 go-givers, because each community has 2 leaders, 6 different masterminds and groups. We got the Ladies of Orat. We got the Unicorn Agents. We now have out-of-state investing. And it warms my heart to know that we've attracted, people that will, take time out of their lives to run 6 different groups. I don't pay them. They've all volunteered. And it's so much fun to be around people going the same direction. So join school. It's 67 pennies a day. It's crazy. Join.
I want to say this, that I really believe Jason and Jennifer Pritchard are the best real estate people in the country right now in terms of profitability, what he's doing. I saw the thing where he's doing the subdivision down in Bakersfield, all his portfolio, all of his success with wholesaling, flipping, all the stuff that they're doing. So 2 things. The reason why I bring this up, I've been around 30 years. These, to me, not only as a couple, but what they're doing, the best real estate people in the country. They're going to be at the event in Vegas, so you will get to spend time with them. And/or they're also doing a bunch of stuff on school. Michael, thank you for all that you do. Have a great weekend, my friend.
Later, brother.